Anthony on Air Podcast back for another episode with more Ghislaine Maxwell news. We've got a follow-up on this document dump that we're expecting. Virginia Giuffre's lawyers have gotten into the mix. We'll tell you what they said. Plus, TMZ's newsroom is being called a hotbed for racism, misogyny, and verbal abuse, according to ex-employees. So we'll dive right into that. Here are some future ex-employees of the Anthony on Air Podcast. That's Frankie C. and Jay Sabs.
What's going on? That's nice of you. Very sweet.
So sweet.
So Maxwell filed an appeal in July to keep this document dump from happening. She's been trying to do this, her and her lawyers. They say it's going to infringe on her right to a fair trial. They're saying that there are far too many intimate details in this deposition that she did for this prior case with Virginia Giuffre, which is interesting to me because, you'd think that you would invoke your right like Maxwell did, and that Epstein did. We saw him do that in a lot of footage. He's like always taking the fifth, and, whereas I guess she just answered a bunch of questions and put some details out there that are now going to come back to bite her in the rear end. I don't know. I find that to be a little bit interesting. Anyway, so the most recent news is Giuffre's attorneys filed a motion, and they're arguing that the fact that she's claiming that this is going to infringe her rights is bunk. It's garbage. They said, and I quote here, cases holding pretrial publicity to be sufficiently prejudicial to a defendant's criminal trial have typically occurred in small communities and not in large cities such as New York. They added that a number of trials in the past decades have drawn intense media coverage, but have nonetheless been tried. They cited the trials of former mobbed-up labor leader Jimmy Hoffa and murderer and cult leader Charles Manson to prove the point. So basically, they bring in Hoffa and Manson and say, these guys had a lot of buzz.
Best arguments.
These guys had a lot of buzz going on about them, and this thing still went to trial. So why is Ghislaine Maxwell to be treated any differently?
It's going to go to trial no matter what. But I kind of get the fact that I don't think everything should be out in the public yet because, they still have to pick a jury. I mean, if everything's out in the public, then people are making up their minds before they even walk in the courtroom.
Right, what they're saying...
I think everything should be public, but after it's all done.
Right, but what they're saying is that might be the case in small town USA, but in New York City, you're definitely going to find people that have no idea about this trial, have no clue what's going on, that are going to get picked.
Yeah, maybe, but your chances are getting smaller every day. That
in 12 million people, no way. First of all, we're into it because we're into it. The people that are watching and listening to podcasts are into it because they're into it. There's a ton of people that are not into it, that could care less, that don't even know this is happening.
Yeah, that's true.
Like Biden.
But... What?
Jeffrey Epstein, who?
What?
I'm kidding.
Excuse me. I wish her well.
Excuse me, you're fake news.
Who are we wishing well? I don't even know.
Wish him well.
Who's it?
I find it hard. No.
Go ahead, Janine.
You go ahead. I'm sorry.
Like what these guys said, even though, according to viewers, I'm not supposed to agree with them, but I do agree with you guys. How are you going to find people who don't know anything about this case?
Well, I think you're going to find people who have heard of Ghislaine Maxwell, and that's okay. But I think you're going to find a lot of people that have no clue what the details are about all of this stuff. Obviously people are going to...
that she's tied to Epstein in some way, and that's already a lot of information, and people are leaning one way or another. That's hurting her.
Yeah, no,
chances.
It is. Like I said, you're gonna have people that have heard of her and heard of Epstein. That's gonna happen, but they're not gonna. It's not. The defense is gonna have to work around that, is what they're saying. Basically, the point that they're making here is, Hoffa's lawyers and Manson's lawyers had to work around these things. Press is going to write articles. News stories are going to come out. That's all the things that defense attorneys have to contend with when they're going to trial or when documents and information is going to be released to the public. Because conversely, on the other side of this is you have this massive conspiracy to cover up as much of this as possible and protect the people in power that were partaking in these sex acts and other acts, and you need to release as much of that information out as possible to expose those people or get all the truth out that you possibly can. Because if not, then they're going to keep as much as they can as quiet as they can.
Yeah, that's true. But if, let's say, Joe Schmo is, implicated in this. I'm sorry. There we go. Are we back? I'm back. All right. So let's say Joe Schmo is implicated in this whole thing. Now, if that's the case, and we all know who Joe Schmo is, why wouldn't the authorities just go get him and arrest him? I mean, why does it have to be made public? Just go and arrest him. Yeah, we should know about it, but if it's gonna affect the whole trial and the case and everything, don't make it all the information public until it's over.
But it's hard though. That's the whole problem. Look, even with OJ, look at that whole thing too.
Well, the trial was televised. I mean, the trial was a couple of months after he was arrested. It was pretty quick. I mean, if we're going to televise the trial, fine. I mean, he was arrested June of 94, I think, and I think the trial started in September, if I'm right.
So according to
remember, something like that.
According to what the lawyers submitted here, they say, and I quote, "The fact that a case receives enormous publicity does not by itself establish error, nor does conceded massive publicity automatically translate into prejudice." Maxwell's lawyers are saying the media has all but convicted Maxwell in her criminal case, but the other lawyers are saying it does not. I agree with the other lawyer. Like I said, we all feel that way. We feel she's guilty. Because we were looking at certain things, but those jurors are going to get in there and they're going to have to make those decisions beyond a reasonable doubt. And they're going to be reminded of that every single day. And both sides are going to have to pick the jury. They have to agree on the jurors. So they're going to get jurors they want on there no matter what.
Oh yeah, they're gonna get the right people, but all I'm saying is this is just making it harder. It's just probably gonna drag it out and be a longer process.
So you're on Ghislaine Maxwell's side, is what you're saying to us here?
No, I am not. What I am saying,
I know what you're saying,
is that the more information that gets released, the more bias people will get, the more their minds will be made up already before going in. I think it's an ongoing case.
The fact of the matter is
it not?
Yes, it is. But this information is from a prior deposition. So she's stated this in a room with people. She's said this information, right? So there are people that know about it. You start to get grand conspiracies when you conceal stuff like this. The way you avoid that is by releasing this information. That's how you avoid it. Now you can say they stopped this from being a part of the trial, or they stopped that from being a part of a trial, and it's not fair to the victims. You eliminate, and that's what I think that the judge is trying to do by releasing this information. Is you're eliminating that possibility. You're being as transparent as a legal system as you possibly can be.
Sure, but do we have to know all the details until it's over and
I don't know if you know this, but my name is on the podcast. That's true. I have every right to know about this.
Yeah, no, you do. We all do, I guess. But my point is that it's
not like everybody can just start their own podcast, Frank. I went through a rigorous process to get this.
That's true. You are highly qualified. No, but I understand. It's got to be made public, and we're all following along with it. It's just now the three of us wouldn't make good jurors.
Excuse me?
Yeah.
On this particular case. And I'm sure most, if not all, the people watching this or listening to this, they're probably not going to be good jurors. I mean,
the three of us
to be a juror.
You would love to be a juror. Me too. I want to.
I love jury duty.
On this case?
Not on
Yes,
this
on
case.
any case. I love jury duty.
You could sign up, I think.
I know. I probably should do that, right? Instead of the
Go
show.
for it.
Back to your point, though, Frank. The three of us and everybody watching and listening would never get picked for this jury. We're too
Exactly
into it. It's got to be the guy and the girl who maybe reads the paper, probably skips over this stuff, could care less.
All I'm saying is it's going to take a little longer to find.
Yes, you're making it. You're correct. You're making it much more complicated to find people that don't know about the case. But to their point, which I think is a good one, in a city of 30,000, in a town of 30,000 people versus a city of 12 million people, there's a lot of anonymity that lives in that 12 million. You could do a lot of things. If you walked down a town of 30,000 people and took your clothes off and peed behind a car, everybody would know about it and be talking about it. In New York City, this happens every 5 minutes and nobody cares.
Right.
That's true. That is a good point. No, I get it. They're going to find people for this jury. There's only 12 people and however many alternates or whatever.
Yeah,
but
they'll find them.
It's just going to be a longer process. But I guess they have to go through this process. That's the way it's set up, and that's what it's going to be. So it is what it's supposed to be, and that's the way they're doing it. They're doing it the right way, is what I'm saying. So the judge, I think, made the right decision. Get the information out there. You can't keep it under wraps. I get it.
We're, by the way, just about a week and a half away from this release, which is exciting. And Maxwell's lawyers have said that the deposition contains, quote, intimate, sensitive, and personal information, end quote, whose release would cause irreversible negative publicity.
I can't wait.
What?
Against whom?
Against her. What could it be? I mean, I can't even imagine what's actually in there and what it could be. But
it's stuff about her. So if it's false, then it shouldn't cause.
No, it's not false. She has said it. Like I said, it's her deposition. So the things that she has said.
Then, too bad. That's what it is.
Which is amazing to me because, again, she could have taken the fifth as most people do in these situations, So it's kind of surprising that she didn't do that. Before we get to the TMZ story, I like jury duty. I could see, Janine, why you're excited about it. But here's what I get caught up in. I get nervous about I had to go one time and they settled right before we were about to start. But I got to the point where I was like, oh man, I got to pay attention now. And what if I make it to 6? Because I tend to daydream. I'm going to daydream for 45 minutes, miss a huge chunk of something and cost the trial of, Meanwhile, it was like a little motorcycle accident. Who gives a crap? But, still, I thought it was like the trial of the century.
It's hard for me because I can't sit still for a fucking 40 minutes over here.
They'd be like, juror number 6, why are you making all those faces? Why are you...
Right. What's wrong with you? Get her out of this room.
Janine would be the only juror that'd be like... Your Honor, objection.
No, I love it, though.
Oh, no, he didn't. Be like, juror number 6, please. Can we please...
Keep it down. The last time I did it, everybody voted guilty except me.
Is that right?
And it was a car accident. And I don't know if I was partial because I knew exactly where the car accident was.
Mm-hmm.
But everybody was trying to convince me to say not guilty.
So was it like 12 Angry Men? Did you slowly convince everybody?
Obviously.
Hey,
that would
go.
Awesome.
No, I guess because only 4 had to say yes. They said he was guilty. But I was so mad. But they were trying for 2 hours for me to say not guilty, and I was like,
why would they if they only needed 4? If they only needed 4, why would they care what you said?
We didn't know until we went into the room.
So you didn't think it was his fault? You didn't think the guy was guilty of doing whatever, causing the accident?
Nope.
But it
Still
didn't
don't.
matter. He still got guilty because they only had to have a certain amount. It didn't have to be unanimous.
He still got guilty.
Yeah.
So what was he? You know what his sentence was, or
Basically, like 2 cars sideswiped each
no?
other.
What was his penalty?
They didn't even tell us.
Oh, all right.
I think we
So
had
he
to
probably-
say
he
a
probably got the
number for the
chair.
girl's injuries.
Yeah. It's usually just
okay.
injuries. It's not like a big major thing.
But that was one thing. The last one before that was like the big courthouse in Brooklyn, and that was a federal case.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Those are big.
That was cool.
Those
But
are
yeah,
big
never
deals.
been
so I
on a
would do it
jury.
again. Oh my god!
It used to be so much
Never
easier
got
to get out of it. Like the last time I went, I was like, I'm on the radio and I talk about everything. And they're like, no, that's okay. They're like, but you can't talk about this. I'm like, yeah, but I might talk about this though. I was like, I'm probably going to talk about it. They're like, well, you can't talk about it. I'm like, but I'm a little difficult.
Yeah, I'm tweeting about it right now. So
I'm not going to listen to you.
I was like, I also don't like what nationality is the defendant? What religion and nationality is he? Oh yeah, I don't like those people. I can't stand those
Good.
people.
Oh god.
yeah, they're Italian. Oh yeah, I hate Italian.
Oh, the worst. Then I have really a lot of experience in this area. Let me tell you, I really can't stand those people.
Nope.
So TMZ's newsroom is a hotbed for racism, misogyny, and verbal abuse, ex-employees say to BuzzFeed News.
Sounds like
Again,
the place where I used to work.
Isn't BuzzFeed and TMZ like
competitors.
joined? Oh, I thought they were.
Sort of.
I thought they were owned by the same thing. I don't know.
Basically, there's this is what's his name? Harvey Levin. I cannot stand this guy with his
I'm a
stupid
lawyer.
water bottle and he sips on it and they're in the office. Let's get a couple of preconceived things out of the way. I hate TMZ with a passion. Oh, I can't stand them. They're the worst. Everything from the in the beginning of the videos to the watermarks. Okay, we get it. You're first on the scene. I understand. And then he sits there in the office sipping his stupid water all the time. Like, how could you be this thirsty that you need water all the time?
It's not water.
And your stupid
Not only
mug.
that,
I hate the mug.
What I hate about it, right in the beginning of the show, he writes like a topic on a whiteboard that, number one, doesn't come out clearly. Like the marker's always like there's like no ink in the marker. And he just goes like this. He writes whatever it is. And then it's never referred to ever again.
Is that right?
That whiteboard is seen in the first 5 seconds. He draws on it. He writes a word. He'll write Kardashians. And then you'll never see that whiteboard again.
I just hate the whole show, the way it's pasted. And okay, here's the thing this is the thing that kills me the most. The zooming. Like, stop with the aggressive zooming. Like, look at how crazy we are. We're zooming in, we're zooming out, we're zooming in. Oh, they're saying it's like I got vertigo.
Constant motion.
Yeah, I can't just point a camera. Just point a camera.
Fun fact about TMZ.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say I like this like laid back office idea for a show. I like that, but they just like took it to this umpteenth degree with the zooming and all the things, and then the other guy's always sitting. I don't know who his Paul Schaefer is, but I don't like him either. He's nicer. Like I noticed when he hosts, I like the show a little bit better. There's something about this. What's his name again? Harvey Levin's face that's very punchable to me. Very, very punchable. But
He's
go
a
ahead.
douchebag.
He's kind of like a douchebag, right? Like he is. Yeah, I don't mind douchebags as long as they acknowledge it. He seems like the type that will never acknowledge what a huge doucher he actually is.
I do have to say the show used to be better years ago, 10 years ago. Now, it's horrible. I can't watch it.
What's
and I
changed?
used to be a big fan. I don't know,
I think the topics have changed. We used to be interested in the people they were talking about way
maybe
more
that's it.
10 years ago. And now we're like, who the hell is that?
Right.
Well, once TMZ actually called me.
What?
And swear to you. Because I was tagged in a photo with an American Idol contestant from our old neighborhood.
Oh.
Really?
So they were calling me to get dirt on her.
Did they really?
Swear to God.
Is that true? That's
What
unbelievable.
did they ask you?
They got my number from Facebook.
Did you tell her? Did you tell them that I
No.
slept with her?
Stupid.
Because you would really appreciate
Well, they
it.
called me and they were like, "Hi, this is blah 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 from TMZ," and I'm like, "What? Are you kidding me?" Because I used to be a big fan back then. And they were like, "No, this is blah blah from TMZ. Could you have a few minutes to talk about your friend, Pia Toscano?" And I was like, "What are you talking about?" I still thought it was a joke.
Mm-hmm.
And then she kept going on and on, and I was like, "I'm not telling you anything. Bye."
What was she asking you?
She wanted to know dirt on her.
Dirt.
Like,
But I bet
give me
she didn't
something.
say, give me dirt. I bet she said, what was she like? What were her? I bet she was all sweet about it.
Was she
Tell me
seeing
about
anybody?
her love life. Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
Tell me about her love life. Yeah, I could see that.
And they called two of my other friends too. That's how I knew it wasn't a joke.
So you
But
didn't
that's what they
mention
wanted from me.
you didn't mention that Pia and I were involved in a radical threesome.
With Frank. No, I didn't mention that.
A group orgy where I was the only
Yeah,
man
yeah.
there. Just to clarify.
It was a big
But yeah,
American
they-
Idol orgy.
You didn't tell her.
Does it
You
say-
didn't tell her about Pia and I's affinity for glass coffee tables, did you?
That
That was a callback to the
going
last
back
episode.
to the last podcast. For that one.
Please do that. But does it surprise you about about TMZ? Not at all.
No, does this surprise me? No, it doesn't. And here's the thing, like, again, I mean, I only worked in radio in New York City, so I never really worked in TV or one of these BuzzFeed places that are like out for scoops and all the time. But I worked with all nice people, and again, there was a big thing that the place that I worked in, I never saw it. It was mostly after I had already left, and I don't really talk about it because I never saw it. I had nothing to do with it, so I'm not going to talk about it. But I can see how these things do happen because you're looking at very competitive people that are all fighting for every single inch of space in that to get in front of that camera and do that thing. You know, I'm sure there's honorable, nice people at TMZ, but a lot of them are doing really kind of crummy work, like you just said, calling up, give me the dirt, all that kind of
Exactly.
like that's not the most morally compassed of people, you know.
No.
So
No.
that when you put all those people together, you're gonna get a nasty little reaction. To be honest with you,
It's
I
like
think the
working at a
laws
car
for that.
dealership.
what'd you say? Jenny?
Yeah.
It's like working at a car dealership.
Is that what working at a car dealership is like?
I
Or-
don't know.
Or on Wall Street.
What were you gonna say, Frank? On Wall Street, I could believe. Wall Street's the same thing. It's a pack of hungry wolves. This is all like a pack of hungry
Exactly.
wolves. You put them in a room together, they're gonna bite each other to get that dinner. You know.
I think there should be more, I think, tougher laws on the books for paparazzi. Like, I know you can't be on the ground. Like, people photograph people over walls and through fences.
Yeah.
It's disturbing. You know, it's like there should
I
be
did
like
that. I did that.
You did that?
Well, when I used to work in the city, I used to get all these pictures of people. I did sell a
Taking
picture.
pictures of people is fine. But like
Yeah,
when
but-
you're like camped out in their driveway.
Oh yeah, that's
and you're,
ridiculous.
you know, going through their garbage and stuff. That's shady bullcrap. There should be laws with that. I don't know.
I'm
Maybe
with
it's
you.
just
I feel like sometimes like there should be some privacy. Like those airport walks, I hated, you know. But here's the thing, though. Like you're like, leave this person alone. They just got off a plane. But then you go to find out that, like, you know, after a little while, they were scheduling those things. You know what I mean?
Yeah. How else would they know they're there?
Yeah, because they love the publicity. After Michael Jackson died, that TMZ was made. That was the big break and the big scoop that they got first, and they rode that wave, and that was it. And then once they had all those eyes, then everybody who despised TMZ was like, "Get away from me!" At the airports was like, "Hey, by the way, you know who's coming in on the 415? is so and so, and then they would get the little publicity for their movie. I mean, it's no,
Nope.
it's no surprise when you don't see celebrity for 7 months, and then all of a sudden they're on TMZ, and then 2 weeks later their movie's out. Like, I mean, it's not, that's how you can tell. But anyway, BuzzFeed News spoke to one current and 23 former TMZ employees who came forward after an ex-colleague filed a lawsuit against the news site's parent companies, Warner Brothers Entertainment and EHM Productions, alleging gender discrimination and retaliation. A TMZ spokesperson called the claims a blatant attempt to use negative publicity and inaccurate claims to force a monetary settlement. One current employee told BuzzFeed News that the culture of TMZ is that of unchecked abuse of power, starting with the men in charge. They also said there are hardly any women in senior roles at TMZ, and that the company hires people of color because they know that they need to, as opposed to appreciating and valuing them. If you're not talking about the rights of black people, if you're talking about misogyny, if you're talking about equality amongst everyone, it's never reflected in the workplace, said one employee. Quote, "We are reporting on all of that stuff, but we're not doing it ourselves," end quote. Now, wouldn't this be the biggest argument against the mainstream left-leaning media? I mean, this is every conservative's problem with the media. Every one of them.
I think it's everybody's problem with the media.
I mean, I think it should be. I think it should be a lot of people's concerns, because I've definitely seen a lot of this. We're not practicing what we preach. I think that is definitely an issue.
Sure. I mean, I don't think that's a mainstream media problem. That's a media problem.
Yeah, well, yes. Yeah, I would say, yeah, I would agree with that. However you want to position it. Like we saw, Matt Lauer. Like Matt Lauer
Exactly. Yeah, that's another one.
would go out and take on all these guys, and then look what this guy had, in his little closet. I mean, it's like that stuff drives me crazy. I actually locked eyes with Matt. Matt Lauer once ruined one of my photographs. Really pissed me off.
What?
You ever tell you this story?
No.
You were taking a picture of yourself and he walked in?
I go to play. I go to where I'm playing in the celebrity softball game out in East Hampton, right? So
Excuse me?
Ray Kelly, just me and all the other celebrities, just doing celebrity things, hanging out.
Sure.
Me and Ray Kelly, the former police commissioner of New York City, also went to the high school that Frank and I went to. So I go. I forget how it happened, but the alumni knew about somebody emailed me and was like, "Hey, it would be great if you and Ray Kelly could take a picture to send to our thing." Okay, cool, no problem. So I tell Ray, "Yeah, you want to take a picture for the alumni association?" He's like, "Yeah, cool." So he was an umpire. Matt Lauer was an umpire. I was on the mic and doing things. So the one chance I had to do it, he was talking to Matt. And I go, "Do you want to, let's grab that picture now on the field before we forget." He goes, "All right, cool." I go, "Matt, you want to take the picture?" "Yeah." With an iPhone. I don't know how he did it, but he takes one picture and it was so like white balanced, like whited out. You could barely see the outline of our thing. And the inning was about to start. So he's like, "Oh, it's a good one." He hands it back to me and I go look at it later. And it's this big white blob of like, you could barely see. And I'm like, how you can't operate an iPhone? I don't even know how, to this day, I don't know how he did it.
He had to take the picture staring into the sun. Like the sun had to be behind you guys.
I don't know. It might have been. I don't know. And then I ran into him at a deli at another time, and we had this like awkward little, like, it was after all the stuff came out about him.
Oh, yikes.
I must have been shooting him a look or something. And he wasn't like afraid, but we definitely like exchanged a glance. And I was like, I'm not excited to see you. Like, first of all, you ruined my picture. Second of all, you're a big hypocrite. And I'm equally upset about both those
I
things.
think you should switch those. Yeah, I think number one should be the hypocrite thing.
Well, it was going to be a nice stuff.
I'd be more bad about the picture.
Yeah, it was going to be a nice picture. And it's from my alumni association. I mean, there was a lot there. There was a lot of thing going on. Anyway, the new group of ex-employees, most of whom asked to remain anonymous for fear of retribution, said that despite TMZ's reputation, the same kind of reckoning that has taken place at other media outlets has yet to hit the website's newsroom. A former Warner
sounds
Brothers,
like another Ellen problem.
yeah,
Right.
a former Warner Brothers employee said, quote, how they treat women in a demeaning manner transcends how they represent women on their site. The two go hand in hand.
That's true.
Yeah, there's a lot of scantily clad women, but there are a lot of scantily clad men, I feel, but definitely not as many as women.
Former
Definitely not.
employees said that Levin and other executive producers screamed and cursed at them on a regular basis. Former employees also said Levin called people, quote, retarded and morons, and made comments like talking to you guys is like talking to a room full of special ed kids. And, quote, my
this.
dog
Come on,
takes
man.
better direction than you do.
Sounds
What-
like someone I used to work for. So
You know what drives me crazy about this too? Obviously, like, here's my thing. Like, I don't think people should be getting screamed at the office. I've been screamed at before. I didn't like feel like, I don't know. It didn't bother me too much. Looking back on some of them, I kind of felt like, you know what, you deserve to get screamed at a little bit there. That was you probably, you know.
I can't imagine screaming at someone like an employee. If I had a group of people, I could imagine, talking to them and being like, you did something wrong. This is messed up. But screaming at them, what does that do?
Oh, yes.
That's insane. How do you get to that level?
The weird thing is like, I feel like on the one hand, like, I feel like this is the overall like softness. Like, I feel like we're getting a little too soft here. But on the same hand, I don't think that people should be getting screamed at, Like I said, I didn't personally take it like, like bad, but I understand it. But I think today you can't really get away with too much. Not that you should be getting away with anything. I'm just saying a lot of people will hide under these things to not like kind of do their work. You know what I mean? And that I don't think is a good thing. But that being said, you look at these comments and I see more than anything a person that thinks that they're funny and entertaining and really is not.
yeah, exactly.
Right? Like this guy, he thinks he is the most interesting, entertaining person. And he is the biggest hack I have ever seen in my entire life. And he's not
He thinks
funny.
he's a personality. He thinks he's a stand-up comic or something. He can get away with saying stuff like that. But at the end of the day, he's a boss. He's running a business, and there's a building full of people that he has to take care of. And when he talks to people like that, there's consequences. You can't say stuff like that to people.
I agree. Once you say something like that to me, I lose all respect for you.
It's over. That's it.
Yeah.
And in one of my jobs,
Uh-oh.
I was yelled at and screamed at. And nope.
That
Sorry.
was it. Yeah. I wouldn't stand for
And
that
about
today.
ridiculous things.
Yeah, I wouldn't stand for that today, but like I said, I've been screamed at in the past, and I probably deserved it, But I won't stand for anybody raising my. And I could see how it would hurt other people. I'm saying, it didn't hurt me. I think I deserved it a little bit, but I could see
I can
how
see that. You're a dick. I could see you deserving a good yelling. Every now and then, you have this way that you would like. You do something, and you're like, it's one of those ask for forgiveness. Just do it and ask for forgiveness later.
Yeah.
But then you'll forget to ask for forgiveness.
Oops.
Like one time, one time when I was working for the Islanders, Eddie Olchuk, who was coaching the Penguins at the time, screamed at me in front of a whole bunch of people. And I think
What
I
did
was
he say?
smiling at him because I was like, I can't believe Eddie Olchuk is screaming at me. This is awesome.
This is the best moment of my life.
But it didn't bother me because it wasn't my fault. Like the printer wasn't working. Like I don't run like that wasn't my fault. But he was so pissed. He was so pissed.
So
Once I got
So what
yelled
did you
at
do?
for Frank's wall.
All right, well, I want to hear nothing. I smiled and walked away from him, and then I think afterwards he said like, "Hey, I'm sorry." After the game, he was like, "Hey, Yeah, I'm sorry about that. And I was
Okay,
like,
good. At least he apologized, right?
yeah, he was like, it
I'm
probably
sorry.
wasn't.
Don't sue me.
Yeah, he's like, it probably wasn't your fault. And I was like, it wasn't my
All
fault.
right, don't talk about this on radio.
But I'm sure Janine's. I'm sure Janine's is more interesting.
Well, it's
What
just
happened
one
here?
of many. I got yelled at for bringing almost bad. Wait, sorry. I got yelled at for not bringing almost bad bananas on a road trip.
For not bringing almost bad. So the bananas were almost going bad, and you chose not to bring them, and you got yelled at for that. Now, does this have anything to do with the Frank that Frank has bananas hanging behind him?
It just reminded me of the story.
That is a weird coincidence.
That is a strange
really
coincidence.
I mean, like on top of someone's lungs.
Really? What was he saying? What were they saying?
First of all, that was sexist, Frank, that you would assume it was a man. But I'm sorry. I apologize to everybody for Frank.
Why do you think it's a male?
Because it's a man. Men are dumb. Go ahead. What was it a man?
The person said,
was it a man?
Can you hand?
She said the person.
Come on.
She's going to let you hang out there now.
It was a man. Okay.
Good.
Can you pass me a banana? I didn't bring the bananas. They were like going bad. What the fuck do you mean you didn't bring the bananas?
Really?
Was it a banana company you were working for? Because otherwise, that's uncalled for.
No.
I didn't know the fine folks over at Chiquita Banana to be like that. That's very surprising, Janine.
That's the only way that's justified, is if you are CEO of a banana company and you just don't have bananas with you.
Yeah.
That's the only way.
I said, no, they were going bad. I didn't want to bring you bad bananas. I can't believe you didn't fucking bring the bananas.
Now, let me ask you a question.
This guy has some outside issues.
Was this early in the morning? Because I like a banana early in the morning instead of a breakfast. Was it early in the morning?
It was probably like 9:30.
Oh, man, that's banana time. I'm on his side. I got to be honest with you. You screwed this whole thing up.
Wait,
was this in front of like a ton of people?
No, this is driving on the Verrazano Bridge.
Just the two of
you? Just the two of you?
Just two of us. I was going to say, leave me in Staten Island.
I would have said the same
thing. Wait. So now it's like an hour goes by, an hour 15. Not one word has been spoken.
That is an awkward car ride.
Awkward isn't the word. He said to me, do you have to go to the bathroom? Yep. We stop. He goes in the bathroom. You know what I did? Went and bought 4 bananas. So when we got in the car, I threw a banana at him.
All right.
How do you take that?
There's one of two things that you could have done. The first thing I thought of, and I was hoping you were going to say, is you got in his car and you took off, because that would have been awesome.
Yeah. Oh,
that would have been probably the best.
Yeah.
Right.
The other thing I didn't think of.
I was thinking banana in the tailpipe.
The other thing
in his tailpipe?
The car, but whatever.
Oh, okay.
Whatever gets you going.
But the other thing I didn't think of is, and you kind of alluded, I would have bought every single banana and put it on his seat, and so he came back to like 56 bananas. That would have been awesome.
Oh, man.
So what did he say when he got back and he saw the bananas?
You should have just brought the bananas.
What a dick.
Okay.
What was wrong with people?
I'm sorry. You got the bananas an hour later. Come on.
God. There's some people that just should not be leading a team of anybody. And that guy is one of them.
Oh, listen to this. One former employee at TMZ said they felt physically threatened by executives at TMZ and that they called them fucking pieces of shit, fucking dummies, and fucking R words a lot. And then said, you don't get an apology or anything like that. They just pretend it never happened until the next thing that pisses them off happens, and then you get another angry outburst from them. This is like exactly what you're talking about.
That's exactly what would happen.
Oh my God.
You know, in a place filled with cameras, I want to see some footage. How was the camera rolling on any of these things?
Someone had to record something, right?
I know it's an office and not everybody has cameras going all the time, but This place is like built on footage.
Cameras.
Let's get some footage out here. Come
Okay,
on.
it's weird.
On that note,
It's weird though, and yeah, we got to wrap up. It's weird though, but people, I feel like we're in an age where people can actually record this more than ever, but people are afraid to do that. I've seen this firsthand. I've had somebody hand me a phone with something really not great on it, not horrible, but not great, and I go, okay, you have it. Why don't you take this person to, I'm not saying go to the media, but I'm saying take this person to task on what they're doing, which is wrong. And they were like, no, I don't want to cause any trouble. It's really weird how some people, which is,
I know someone who recorded something. Yep.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Were they able to
And
use it?
Yep. So.
It's super
Cool.
important. But there's a lot of people that will take abuse in the workplace for years because they
Yeah,
feel
it's sad.
it sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah. It really,
Yeah, it's not cool. There's because the bosses or the people that are doing it, they feel they can get away with it, and it's intimidation, and it makes the person who's getting yelled at or whatever, or abused, makes them feel like if they come forward, they're going to get in more trouble, and it's going to be a big thing, and they don't want to cause a huge situation.
I mean, I'm looking at those bananas now, Frank, and I'm sweating. I can never look at the banana
Should I
in the same
get
way
rid of
again.
them?
yeah, that's a little offensive that you hung bananas, Frank.
Come on now. I mean, really, Frank.
You knew Janine was going to tell this story today. Look at where the camera. You knew Janine was going to tell this story. You had to do the.
I mean, come on, you knew it. You just had to hang it up in my face.
Are those Dole bananas?
They're gone now. They're gone.
Are those
If they're
Dole?
not
They are
Chiquita.
Chiquita. They are Chiquita.
Why did you buy me Dole bananas?
Can you name another
You
banana company besides Dole bananas or Chiquita bananas?
No.
The only other banana companies I know come from The Simpsons. I don't even know if they're real.
I bet you
Oh,
he would have
God.
gotten pissed that you didn't have the proper brand banana, Janine. That's probably something that he would have done.
Oh, definitely.
Or it would have been not at the right stage of ripeness, and that would have been your fault.
When I tell you that they were brown, gross. Sorry. I bought them like on a Saturday. No, Friday I bought them. And I think we went away on a Thursday.
Now,
Like, come on.
would he
That's a long time.
have been mad to have bad bananas? Like if you handed him a bad banana, would he have been equally as annoyed? Like, do you think you would have gotten that screaming no matter what?
He wouldn't have eaten it. So I don't know. I just think that he was pissed off that I didn't bring the bananas, and he told me to. I'm not bringing bad bananas. I'm not lugging disgusting
I'm sure.
bananas around.
You know what,
This
Janine?
couldn't
You're a
have been the
person
only
of
time he flipped
integrity.
out like that.
You're a
Wait,
person
what?
of integrity who I respect. You will not have a bad banana on your watch, and I could appreciate that. I really can.
And this couldn't have been the straw that broke the
first-
camel's back. I'm sure he flipped out on other things
Oh, yeah.
in your time there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, all these, we can go back to all your former employers, and they can say what they will, but I'm sure they won't be like, you know what? She always had bad bananas around, which is.
It's the one thing we know about Janine.
I'll be honest with you,
Always has a
Frank.
good banana.
I mean, since Janine joined the podcast, have we ever had a bad banana? Look what you got a whole pile of great
I've got a
bananas
whole
over
bunch here. There's 7 awesome bananas here.
See?
I'm gonna call you.
I'm around.
I'm gonna call you the banana queen, Janine. Banana
Thank
queen, Janine.
I like
There you
it.
go.
Yeah.
Anthony on
Better
here
than
with
Janine's
Banana Queen
Jizz
Janine. Actually, I don't know what's better. But you know what? I actually have to step out because I hear
Yes.
some
We gotta go.
crotch
This
monster
was a
screaming.
lot of episode. Oh, by the way, TMZ categorically denies all of this. They say none of this
course
is
they do.
true. So this will be an ongoing. But BuzzFeed, they have asked in this article publicly to contact them, tips.buzzfeed.com, if you have more information. So they are ready to sink their little teeth
Oh,
in.
God.
I'm submitting my banana story.
There you go.
I don't think they'll find it relevant, but good luck.
We'll see.
All right, that is it for us. We'll see you on the next episode. AnthonyOnAir.com has all our details and information. Frank's ready to get into a fresh pile of bananas. We
Go
will
ahead,
see
stuff
you
that whole thing in your mouth.
on the next episode.
That's how you got ahead at work. Bye.